Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Arif bin Hashusli and I'll be presenting my article review of the research paper Combating Sexual Cyber Violence Against Women in Malaysia by Dr. Hazrina Begum binti Abdul Hamid. The paper provides a comprehensive analysis of the challenges faced by women in Malaysia due to cyber violence caused by the inadequacy of existing legislation and the urgent need for improvement in the legal and protective framework. The paper highlights that cyber violence against women is a disproportionate issue causing psychological harm and deterring them from digital participation in various aspects of life. The paper critiques the current legal framework in Malaysia and its inadequacy in addressing cyber violence against women. It identifies the limitations of current laws such as Communication and Multimedia Act of 1998 and the Computer Crimes Act 1997, which primarily target misuse of data and computers and defamatory statements. The absence of the specific provisions to combat cyber harassment, cyber stalking, doxing, and the revenge porn is highlighted as a significant shortcoming. Several NGOs that document cases of cyber harassment in Malaysia, such as Empower, Pusat Komas, are agencies that address and lobbies harassment issues instead of these existing laws by itself. The paper further critiques the limited help provided by law enforcement, highlighting that victims may not know how to seek help and assistance, and that law enforcement authorities tend to minimize the risk of online threats and sometimes refuse to even investigate them. For an example, in the case of 16-year-old girl who committed suicide in 2019 following the result on an Instagram poll that she posted whether she should suicide or she should not suicide. The majority voted that she should suicide, thus she suicide. This is a case of abetment, but since the voting happens online, no such abetment issues were happen to arise. They emphasize the need for specific laws and policies that comprehensively address various forms of cyber violence, providing a nuanced understanding of the data obtained. The call for improvement is underpinned by a strong rationale and the support by the inadequacies identified in the existing legislation and the pressing need to safeguard women from the cyber violence and any harassing itself. Once again, this is just my critics, and as a critics, I must say that Malaysia must follow the footsteps of another countries. For example, in the European Union has enacted laws that specifically address the various forms of cyber violence, and again, in the United States has enacted laws such as the Violence Against Women Act or VAWA and the Cyber Stalking and the Cyber Harassment Act, which provide legal protection to women victims of cyber violence. And in the United Kingdom had enacted the criminal code that amended in 2015 to include provisions of cyberbullying by itself, including the non-consensual distribution of intimate images. These are examples of improvements that Malaysia should adopt in our legal system. Furthermore, there is also a need to provide a cultural shift by providing a public awareness in order to educate the masses on the regard of the cyber violence. For example, in United States, there's organizations such as National Network to End Domestic Violence and the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. All of these are some improvements that are put forward in order to improve our national security. Other than that, thank you very much. That's all from me. My name is Muhammad Arif bin Hashusli, and thank you, Dr. Nazli, for this assignment. I had able to study of the current need for Malaysia in order to improve of our legal system in regards of the cyber law.